Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Strategy Game Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Shippey, and today we are sharing another word. Now, this series of words just came to me over a series of 6 months very clearly, and every time I would start to hear one, I would just run for my notebook or my phone and make a new note. So I want to encourage you, if you start to hear things, hear any phrases come to mind or anything that seems out of the ordinary, listen, write it down, take a note somewhere, and then think on that when you have some quiet space. Okay, so this one is called You Are Not Who You Were. When you entered into this season, things were blurry. You've become tired along the way, exhausted, and at the end of yourself in many moments. You've questioned things deeply, but you are not who you were. You're emerging as someone who has slowed down enough to see themselves and others differently, and that will change things in a good way. While you may experience a new sense of freedom coming out of the season, you'll carry with you the lessons learned here from this place. You fought the battle, and you are not who you were. So that is just a word that I had shared actually in June of last year. But when this comes out, this date, it'll be about a year from when I received that and when I wrote that down. And, it's so interesting, even the timing of probably the share. And as you're listening to this, maybe you're just saying, wow, this applies to me so much right now. And I really believe in that. Like, I believe in divine timing. Like, I think that, if this just really speaks to you and, you are struck by this word today, let that just be confirmation that that you are provided for, that you're protected, and just find a sense of hope in that, knowing that there's something bigger than you, and that you are seen, known, and heard. And so let's go through the word and let's talk through it. So you're not who you were. Maybe you feel like this past year you've gone through a season of confusion or overwhelm or just blurriness, like I wrote in this word, just where you couldn't really see clearly, you couldn't see straight, and things kind of felt like a swirl around you. I know I definitely have experienced that in the last year or two in different seasons, and you become tired, weary, exhausted, and sometimes at the end of yourself in many moments, just thinking like, I can't do it this way anymore. And maybe you've questioned things deeply. So when we can go through those seasons where things are really blurry or things just really shake us to our core and we can't seem to get clarity, we start to question things. We question ourselves. We question, sometimes almost everything in life, right? And that process can lead us and show us things. And really in those seasons, we can take on a new shape. So we can really shift in a good direction. And, I know it's a phrase that when you go through struggles, sometimes they can be the best thing for your growth. Like, we can grow and we can learn so much through struggles, but we don't want to go through the struggles and the hardships, right? So, but as you're coming out of that, as you're emerging as someone who has slowed down a little bit to see themselves and to see others differently because of the hardship or the trial or the blurriness or the confusion, things are shifting for you in a good way. And while you may experience a new sense of freedom coming out of the season, you're going to carry with you the lessons you learned from this place or from the place that you've been in. You're not going to forget them because they have been so formative to the next 5, 10, 20 years for you. So while the season may have felt very frustrating at times, exhausting, draining, and confusing, you're not going to forget the lessons learned from this place. So you fought the battle, be encouraged. You are not who you were. And I want you to take a minute as we close out this episode to think about why you're not who you were. Why is that? How have you changed? And what is it that has shaped you the most as you've walked through whatever journey you've been on in the last year or two? What formative moments are shaping the lessons learned and who you now are at this point? So I think overall, it's a really encouraging message because it's growth, right? And I think anytime we can stand, the last word said, just talked about standing on solid ground. When we come through something, after we come through it, we feel like a more confident version of who we were previously. So just take hope in that and be encouraged. And thanks for listening in as always. And if you're looking for more things StoryWork, head to www.storywork.co.